Alrighty, everybody. So we just got the Saiyan Day Dokkan Now Volume 8 to be specific. Um, let's just get right into it because there's a lot to cover here. So, basically, Amatsu's introducing. We're getting 12 stones for the first day of Saiyan Day, so we'll get this on March 18th. That's pretty good. Um, Basically all the missions and event missions says it'll give you 33 stones. They're adding a new infinite Dragon Ball history stage. This stage, I think it said it was against Super Saiyans. Yeah, stage theme will be Super Saiyans. The final boss will be Super Vegeta, which he told us that Amatsu said that he disables dodge. So I guess keep that in mind when you attempt this stage, but that's also a bunch of stones right there, 27 stones. We're getting a burst mode against Cell, which, I mean, if you haven't put two, like, in case y'all don't know who the unit is, if y'all just, think Cell Saga, Super Saiyans, Pure Saiyan, who comes to mind? So yeah, basically just another burst mode is pretty fun. My only issue with burst mode is I tend to forget it's active and then I forget to do it. That's my only issue because it's kind of like to the side of the screen. It doesn't like really pop out at you. But let me turn the volume down. But this is the new Vegeta's animations. I've seen some people already talking on Twitter saying that his animations are kind of and I might just be biased because it's Vegeta, but I personally don't see it. My only issue, I guess, is this voice line right here doesn't have like that like iconic voice line where he's like, oh, like, does a machine like you experience fear? But I think that's just because that was a line that was added by the dub. That wasn't, the source material of this. And that's kind of what Dokkan does, is they, like, follow the manga of Dragon Ball Z. And, like, that's why a lot of these panels and a lot of these, like, face animations kind of look weird. Is because they're directly animating the manga panel. Which is, it's gonna look a little bit weirder than how it looks in the anime. So, but yeah, I personally like these animations quite a bit. I will say, like, his face looks a little bit weird right here, but again, I think that's, like, basically how he looks from the manga. So, let's go ahead and take a look at this Vegeta. So this is SSR art, and then, this is... Wait, okay. I guess we don't get to... Did I skip over the art? Okay, yeah. And this is his TUR. So he is a base form Vegeta that goes into Super Saiyan, and it's active skill transformation. So you can choose when to transform. It's not automatic, so that's always good. So here's his categories: Pure Saiyan's transformation boost, Vegeta family, Super Saiyan, Android Cell Saga, Battle of Wits, Gifted Warriors, Mastered Evolution. Pretty good, pretty good. And his leader skill, which we're going to go take a look at here in a second. Vegeta family or Super Saiyans, 170, and the 200% is to Pure Saiyan's, Battle of Wits, or Mastered Evolution. So, thanks to Dokkan Info, I was actually able to build the 200% team, because these are all teams already in the game. So, as you can see, Super Saiyan, Vegeta family, Pure Saiyan, Master Evolution, Battle of Wits. So, these are all the units that is on Vegeta's 200%. So, we have Broly, who's on this 200%, so that's good. Evo Vegeta, we all know how good this guy is. He's a staple on this team. He's automatically the best unit on this team, I think, because this team doesn't have Beast Gohan, so he's the best unit on the team. SDR Vegeto's on this 200%, and again, keep in mind, this is only showing units that are on the 200%. There's still other units on this team, like, well, Super Trunks is on 200%, but I'm trying to see. So, like, Future Gohan, he's on this team, just not on the 200%, so that's pretty good. Hold on, I'm trying to, like, close out some of these tabs. God Goku is also on this 200%. I still think he's really good. I know he's a little bit controversial with some people, but these guys are on the 200%. I know they're pretty bad right now, but I'm expecting them to EZA during either before or during the 10th anniversary, and I'm expecting them to be pretty stupid, so keep that in mind in the future. He's on the 200%. he's on the team. He's just not on the 200%. But I think even him not being on the 200%, he's too valuable not to run. Like, I actually like, the more and more I use this Gogeta, like, I just love him. Like, he's just so fun to use, so good, like, all that. I just had him pulled up to look at some dates, and yeah, this guy's obviously the best unit on the team. And then, Sort of Hope is okay. Like, he's not great, but he's also not bad. So, that's his team. Let's go ahead and take a look at his... So, his super attack effect, he stacks attack and defense, and this is very important. He also seals, which is kind of helpful. Some of these new fights, the first couple stages, you can seal or like attack debuff and stuff like that, so that could come in handy. And then, so this is his passive and base. So he gets attack and defense in 2 key, 150%. He gets guaranteed guard, just like that. And then he gets 18% damage reduction and a guaranteed super for the first 3 turns, which is really good because that's basically for the first 3 turns. He's always gonna double super, so at first 3 turns you're guaranteed at least 2 stacks per turn, so 4 stacks. So this is kind of like a complicated wording, but basically the best way I can explain this is, so whatever HP you have when he attacks for the first time in a turn, I mean, I don't know why that specify first time in a turn, but basically whatever HP like you have when he attacks. So it's like you could start the turn at 100% HP, but then if someone takes too much damage, and then when this Vegeta attacks, you're not at 100% HP, it's gonna take account the HP like you're at when he attacks. So it's like, let's say you're at 100 at the start of the turn, but then by the time he attacks you drop to like 60. It's gonna take account of that. So, and it goes up to 150 if you're at full health. And then he has a second part where basically the same thing, but it takes sorry, I don't know why I'm struggling to say this. It takes account the amount of HP you have when he gets attacked. So same thing goes. So like technically, I guess, if you put him in slot 1, and you know you have 100% HP, basically when he takes that first hit, like, it should just give you the 150 because you're going to be at full health. I'm not necessarily sure if this part of his passive works like Tech Merge Zamasu LR is defense, like if it kicks in as he's receiving that attack or if it's after receiving that attack. He also gets 31% defense with each attack received up to 80, so he needs to get hit 3 times to fully build that up, which is pretty good. That's, you know, 80% more defense, and he's it's only 3 hits, so it's not bad. He gets a guaranteed additional that has a 70% chance to be a super attack if there's an ally whose name includes Goku in the same turn. That should be pretty easy to proc. I guess like maybe on his own team, like I guess the main thing that comes to mind is like this guy, you know, like because this guy technically has a Goku in the name, so this guy can proc his additional. I'm trying to think who else like would do it. Like obviously no one on Vegeta family is going to do it. Like I guess this guy, but you'd have to exchange to the Goku, which is not going to happen. Let me take a look at Super Saiyans real quick again. So like these guys can proc it technically if you run them on the team. I think actually, yeah, like the best person is going to be God Goku. I mean, they should link up okay. Like they'll have like probably the normal stuff like Prepare Battle, Super Saiyan, Fierce Battle, that stuff. But this Vegeta's probably gonna have some stuff like Saiyan Pride and that type of stuff. Also, we don't know this Vegeta's typing, but I'm expecting him to be an extreme unit because a lot of these Super Saiyan Vegetas from the start of the Cell Saga were extreme units back in the day. So I don't know if they'll follow the pattern or not, but that's what I'm expecting. So I guess like maybe getting this Goku part of his passive is not going to be that easy, because like the only 2 that come to mind is God Goku and STR Vegeta. Like maybe I'm missing something. You guys can let me know in the comments if I am. But those are the only 2 units that come really to mind that you can run on rotation probably with this Vegeta. But like God Goku I feel like would work perfectly fine with him, and then so does STR Vegeta I feel like would work pretty fine with him. It's just the only problem I guess is when you transform into Vegito, you'll lose out of that part of his passive, but then again, you'll see here why that's not really that important, I feel like. So, and then he also gets that if he's against an enemy who includes Goku. Even with the new fights, there's not really right now like a very difficult fight against the Goku. Like, there's some fights, but I wouldn't necessarily say they're difficult. Then we get to this transformation condition, which is very easy. HP 18% or more, starting from the third turn. Like, you honestly, I wouldn't even really like. I feel like there's gonna be very minimal situations where you're gonna start the turn at below 18% HP. Like, I don't think. I mean, just because I said that, I know that's gonna happen to me probably when I showcase this Vegeta if I pull him, but I feel like this is not. So, like, just think of it as starting from the third turn. It also just says from start of battle, so it's literally just third turn from. It's like, so if you get this guy in slot 7, you could just go Super Saiyan right away, but I would say you don't want to do that probably because he does stack. And then when you go into Super Saiyan, he gets 50% attack and defense for one turn. He still seals. So now he gets 180% attack and defense in Key 3. He still gets the guard. The damage reduction is also now permanent. He gets 180 when attacking, which is, this is going to be massive because his attack stat is going to be massive because this is when attacking. And then if your HP is 30% or more when attacking, he gets an additional that has a 70% chance to be super. So yeah, so he has a 70% chance to super pretty much. And then basically what this is the less the enemy HP is, the more attack buff he gets. My only question is I think these are stackable because it's like it's saying plus an additional if the target enemy is 80% or less when attacking, plus an additional 30% if the so 30 30 50. So he gets 110. So I think it's like if the enemy HP is 40% or less, he gets an extra 110% attack, I think. We'll be able to tell when we showcase him, depending on how high his attack stats shoot up. But I would assume these stack just simply because of the fact, like, since he gets 30% here and then 30% here, if these don't stack, then, like, the difference between 80% or less or 60% or less is, there's no difference. So yeah, this has to stack. So, you know, he's basically going to hit harder the lower the HP of the enemy is. Which is really, I feel like that's pretty good design for attack buffs. Because that just means, like, he'll do that first super. Maybe he'll knock the enemy down below 80%. So then the additional, like the 70% additional, will get the extra buff. And then maybe he'll knock him down to 60% or less. And then, like, he'll get the hidden potential system. And, you know, do that. And now this part. Additional defense 180 when receiving an attack. This is like Tech Merge Zamasu. This defense kicks in right away. So even on the hit that he's taking to get this defense, he has this defense up. Just keep that in mind. So this guy has 360% defense with guard, 18% damage. I know, like, this damage reduction is pretty small, but, like, when you give a unit guard and damage reduction, even the smallest amount of damage reduction counts. And, you know, keep in mind, this guy stacks defense in base, so, like, you could just stack with him quite a bit, and then when you transform into this guy, like, having a million something defense start of turn, so that's before he even gets this part, with guard, with damage reduction, like, nothing's gonna hurt this guy, I think. And he's also the first unit that gets this, so he gets a guaranteed additional also when he takes after taking a hit. So you want to run this guy in slot 1 so you get that off. But he also does this. He action breaks. He disables enemy action for once within the same turn, and it says once within the turn after receiving attack. So this happens every turn. Every turn you put him in slot 1, he takes one hit, and then like let's just say there's 2 attacks in slot 1. He takes that first hit, but then that second hit is going to get action broken. Which is pretty stupid, because like if that first hit is a normal, but then that second hit was gonna be a super attack, you just broke the super attack before it even happened. So like it, or like it can even go, let's say he's not, you don't put him in slot 1, he can just like, he'll still get that action break when he gets hit, like, which that is I think this is the first unit that does that, like action breaks when they get hit, because usually action breaks is like it's off of an active skill or something like that. So, and the last thing, he has his active skill, he gets massive attack, ultimate damage, and guaranteed crits. Keep in mind, again, he is stacking in base, so this is gonna hit like a, I don't want to curse, this is gonna hit like a freight train. This is not like a silly little active skill by a TUR. He is gonna be doing some damage. And again, it's also just guaranteed crit, so no matter what, like, you're always gonna be getting the maximum attack stat from this guy. And the condition for it is also really easy, because it's just, oh hey, he gets hit 3 or more times in battle, or if you're facing one enemy whose HP is 80% or less. So it's like, you could have a turn where, you know, you're stacking up with this Vegeta, you're on the final boss of a fight, the boss is under 80% HP, you go into this Vegeta, you can immediately shoot off his active skill, shoot that off, do a bunch of damage, put him in slot 1, and then, you know, with guaranteed crits, he's going to have, you know, his first super, he's going to have the 70% super, so that's 2, he has a guaranteed super after getting hit, so that's 3, and then he has his hidden potential. And again, he gets more buffs the less the enemy. Like, I genuinely think you can have a turn with this guy where, as long as the boss is below 80, you transform into this guy and he will just single-handedly delete the boss, because the active's gonna hit like a nuke, and then his first super, like, let's say the active skill brings you down below 60, then like the first 2 supers bring the boss down to below 40, and then your possible last 2 supers will just have his full attack buff. Again, the only thing we don't know yet is we don't know this guy's stats. That's the one problem. We don't know his stats. So that could influence how hard he hits and how defensively he is, but we shall see. And, you know, obviously he comes out, it says he starts on 3/17, so it's basically going to be the night before Saiyan Day. And then they talked about a bunch of sync update stuff. This was already announced a while ago on the JP version. I don't think there really was anything else here. Like, they talked about Super Easy, and then they actually revealed the details for this guy, which is right here. So he gets 2 key attack and defense 200%, guaranteed crit for the first turn. He gives allies crit for the first 3 turns. He has both superclass and extreme allies, which is nice. And then he gets 150% defense for the first 5 turns, and then he also gets another 150% defense and a high chance to launch an additional super when performing a super for 7 turns. Then after he loses all those buffs, he only gets so he basically downgrades from 300% attack and defense to only 100. So this guy's probably not really that great for the longer fights. He has a medium chance to dodge, which is 30%. And then he gets an extra 30% before he attacks, so he has 60% chance to dodge in slot 1, even though I don't think you really want to run this guy in slot 1. And then he gets extra defense and high chance to perform a crit when he dodges for 3 turns. Now, I did see calculations on Twitter. His max defense can peak around like 1.3 million, which is good for normals. So, like, he can tank normals from these bosses, even the new bosses, I think. However, obviously, super attacks, he cannot hang with those. Like, he needs to, like, if he gets into a situation where he is getting super attacked, you better hope this 30%, or if you have him in slot 1, you better hope the 60% procs and you dodge, because you will die. But he's going to be doing a lot of damage. Like, he'll have, like, I think a 14-15 million attack stat. And he can do 3. Yeah, because he has a high chance and he has his hidden potential. Okay. So yeah, and then other stuff is they just talk about like some other functions. Again, this is all kind of covered. And then they had this mini game where he threw balls at a bunch of numbers. He did end up actually accomplishing it. So we are all there should be 18 stones in everybody's box, and that's pretty much it. So I guess just as a spoiler, I already went through and looked through Twitter after the stream. Um, I'm seeing a bunch of people apparently saying that this guy's not really that good, which I personally don't understand. I think he's actually really good, but that's just my personal opinion. So let me know what you guys think of this Vegeta, and I will be summoning. Let's just say that I will be summoning for the boy. So I'll be I guess that's it for this video. My thoughts on this guy, number one to your. So that is all. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.